Welcome back to English Vibe Lab. I'm Jimmy, your host today, and sitting right across from me is the inimitable Alina. So, Alina, before we jump into any wild English practice, can I ask why do you think slow listening is so important for learners?
Honestly, Jimmy, it's because speed is the enemy when you're new. If someone talks at 100 miles an hour, you just hear noise. When I started, I needed to hear every word, every pause. It's like building a house, you don't start with a roof.
You're so right. Half the time when I listen to fast podcasts, even I get lost. And I speak English. Plus, going slow lets you pick up on stuff like intonation and those weird little connecting words people use without thinking.
And it's a confidence booster, too. If you can shadow a slow podcast, you start to believe, hey, I can actually say these sentences. Speaking of shadowing, do you remember the first time you tried it?
Oh, how could I forget? I sounded like a robot who drank too much coffee. But it worked. Eventually, my tongue stopped getting tangled. That actually reminds me of a funny story. So, picture this. It's my first week trying to shadow an English podcast, and I'm walking in the park, headphones on, repeating after this very serious British guy. Suddenly, I realize I'm saying, "The weather today is absolutely splendid," out loud, and someone walking their dog gives me the weirdest look.
I swear, Jimmy, you're not alone. Last year, I was shadowing in the supermarket and ended up repeating, I would like to buy a kilo of carrots right in the vegetable aisle. The cashier thought I was performing some kind of veggie poetry.
Ha! At least you picked something healthy to shadow. I once did an entire shadowing session about donuts. For weeks, all I could say in perfect English was, "Would you like sprinkles with that?"
And there's no better way to remember phrases, right? Those moments stick in your brain. But you know those silly situations are gold because they help you feel less shy. Did you ever get over that embarrassment, or do you still cringe thinking about it?
Now I just laugh. Honestly, if you're not willing to sound a little silly, you'll never get fluent. But speaking of confidence, there's a trick I found super helpful for A1 and A2 learners. One trick is to set micro goals. Like, today I'll master saying, "How are you?" with the right intonation. Or I'll shadow just 5 sentences and not care if my cat gives me judging looks.
That's genius. Small wins add up, kind of like collecting gold coins in a game. Every time you nail one phrase, it's a power-up. And to make it a habit, I tell my students to link English practice to something they already do, like brushing their teeth or making morning coffee.
Totally. I used to stick Post-it notes everywhere. Mirror, fridge, even on my TV remote. Every time I touched something, I'd say the English word. The house looked wild, but it worked.
That's actually brilliant. You could turn your whole life into an English zone. And talking to pets, underrated practice. My dog now knows more English than my cousin. But let me ask, what do you say to people who worry about their accent or making mistakes?
Honestly, I tell them, everyone makes weird sounds at first. Even native speakers do. The important thing is to keep going, not to sound perfect. Actually, I've got a silly accent story that still cracks me up. Okay, so once I tried to say sheet of paper, but I put the wrong vowel in. I'll let you guess what the teacher heard. Everyone laughed. But after that, I never forgot the word. Sometimes mistakes are the best teachers.
Oh, that's priceless. I once mixed up beach and, well, you know the other word. The whole class burst out laughing. But honestly, nobody remembers the mistake a week later, except you, and you end up remembering the word forever.
Exactly. And sometimes people love your accent. It makes you sound unique. I've had people tell me my weird mix of British and American is charming, even though I still mess up schedule every time.
And let's be real, there's no one correct accent in English. If you're understood and you're brave enough to speak, you're winning. Plus, half the time, native speakers argue over how to say tomato anyway.
Now, since we're talking about being understood, what about listening? Because sometimes listening feels like the hardest part.
Totally get you there. I still remember listening to a British friend say, fancy a cuppa? I had no idea that meant want some tea? Context is everything. You have to learn to guess from the situation, not just the words.
That's so true. And sometimes people mumble or use slang. I always tell beginners, don't panic if you don't catch every word. Try to grab the main idea, like a detective listening for clues. The rest comes with time.
And if you hear a new word, you can always ask, Most people love explaining their weirdest phrases. I used to keep a notebook just for odd expressions, now it's like my personal English treasure chest.
I love that. Actually, why don't we do a mini listening challenge right now for our listeners? We'll say a simple sentence slowly, and everyone at home can shadow along. Ready?
Let's do it. Here's one. I am learning English every day. Repeat after us, folks.
And one more. Practice makes progress, not perfection. Say it loud, bonus points if your cat joins in. So, let's wrap things up. Today we talked about why slow listening matters, shared some truly embarrassing stories, and gave out tips for making English a part of everyday life. Whether you're shadowing while shopping or making your pet bilingual, you're making progress.
And remember, mistakes are just part of the adventure. Don't let them slow you down. In fact, every time you trip over a word, you're getting closer to fluency. We're cheering for you every step and every sheet of paper of the way.
If you found this episode helpful, hit that like button, subscribe to English Vibe Lab, and share your funniest English learning moment in the comments. Trust us, we read them all, and we might just share your story next time.
And give our shadowing challenge a try practice out loud, no matter who's listening. The more you speak, the more natural it gets. Thanks for joining us, and keep catching the English vibe.